Here it is. I found it. This is what I was talking about. They knew Jesus means justice. They knew supporting hoodies and all that for the Moabites and the final. And there it is. Moorish Americans love Jesus. Yeah. Yo, all right, you take that on. It's that other one I was talking about, right? Where they so the Moors were Christians now. Now, you watch that video. What was Islamic Moors built a that temple, that museum, or that's used as a museum now. That cathedral. Um, they say they know it's Islamic Moors because they wrote in Islam on the walls, but there are paintings and carvings in there which go against the Quran, right? To have no images, it goes against the Ten Commandments, right? Have no graven images, but there's images carved in there and Islamic writings written throughout there, left on there like a calling card. So I noticed something. It's just one of those reasons why I don't like to use that word more, because more covers up the true identity of the people. No different than calling someone black and white. No, what is your ethnic group you descend from, right? Whose father do you come from? When you just say more and they say, well, Moors, the Ethiopians, you're the Moors, the Buddhists, you're the Moors, the Hebrews, you're the Moors, the Pacific Islanders, you're the Moors, the Mayan, the Aztecs, the Incas, the Olmecs, you're all the Moors, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, the Mohawk, everything's a Moor. I don't like that because it doesn't tell me who you descend from, who's your father. So the Moors were Christians now. Why would you say that? Jesus wasn't a Christian, right? Because right. A Christian is to be Christ-like. Christ-like is to be the anointed or the anointed one of God. Doesn't say what God anointed them because there's obviously, thanks to Lex Will when he showed us, what was it? Who's the guy? Dude, I can't think of his name. Um, what's that guy's name? Who talks about the deluge and that the God of the Old Testament is not the same God as the New Testament. Uh, like, was it Serapis? No, Crustus? No, it wasn't him. What was his name? I can't think of his name, but it was a lesson that Lex Will taught us, where the guy literally like gave away all his stuff because he wanted to follow the Bible. But then as he actually read the Bible, he's like, "Yo, the God of the Old Testament, the God of the New Testament are two different gods. The God of the New Testament could not be the son of the God of the Old Testament. The God of the Old Testament acts more like a man. He gets jealous, he gets angry, he's patient, all these different things. The God of the New Testament is just this fairy tale God, right?" So let me see here. Jesus was Christian. Yeah, Yahshua was Hebrew. Two different beings. That's right. Let's see. Is is you worship Jesus? Are you not Christians? And then, so who was Yahshua in the Old Testament? See, and there's a play and there's a word play. If you don't know the difference, then you're gonna get fooled, right? Because you take the name Joshua and they tell you that Joshua translates into Yahshua. They say Jesus translates into Yahshua. How can that be? The spelling is not the same whatsoever. Well, then you got to break down Joshua, right? What is the closest one? You know, uh, we know there's no letter J, so it's either an I, an H, or a Y. So Joshua is closer to that name, and Joshua's the judge, right? Jesus, we know that English was being spoken years before they ever came up with the letter J. Not saying the J sound, but the letter J. So when they finally invented the letter J, you could add the sound to the letter now, right? So it would have been ESUS, SUS, any kind of Lex has gone in and taught us about SUS, the pig, the genome, how they slaughtered the pig on the altars and had the Israelites eat it, defiling themselves and things like that. So, so at work, I seen this in the trash. Um, a tax guidebook. All right, I picked it up and I started flipping through it. You know, And I started realizing, I started recognizing, terms and stuff like that. The what was it the tax code for non-resident, non-alien of the United States, things like that. And I started thinking about something as I'm reading through here. It was a thick book, so there's a lot to read, a lot to try to comprehend. But I started realizing something. Every status, right? Every I want to I don't know how to say this correctly, but I'm gonna try. It seems as if every status there is to claim, they've come up with a way to tax it. So when reading this, I was thinking, I by reading this, you could find out, okay, if you claim that you're this, are you taxed? If you read the guidelines, if you claim that you're a Moabite or more, is there really a tax for them? An Indian, is there really a tax for them? And it reminded me of what's his name there, Chief Langley, because Chief Langley in one of his videos, he brought up um, how the I'm trying to remember everybody. There was the Indian, the Negro, the Egyptian. What was the other one? Oh, the mulatto and the mestizo, and there was somebody else. But they were all that in South Carolina. They were all being captured. They were all being captured along the roadsides, and people wanted to put a tax on them if they could prove that they were who they said they were. Here it is. This was one of the books I downloaded after I listened to him, and he was pointing